Okay, so this is the IROAD Powerpack Pro 12. And everybody keeps asking, how do we actually connect this to a vehicle? So I wanted to open up the box and just kind of go over it, because I guess we haven't really done a proper rundown of how this all works. So you got the user guide and you got the IROAD Powerpack Pro 12. So these are actually the inputs and outputs of the actual IROAD Powerpack Pro 12. So you can actually see right here, this is the output. So this is the output that would go directly to your dash camera. This is your high, low, and off switch. This is your cigarette input. So if you're going to be using if you actually buy the optional cigarette lighter adapter, the cigarette lighter adapter will plug directly into here like so, and then allows you to plug directly into the cigarette lighter jack in your vehicle, which means you don't have to have any hard wiring. It'll just work directly off your cigarette lighter jack. And then you have the F input. The F input is for hard wiring, which will have your power, ground, and ignition that you need to hook up. Last but not least is your USB output, which maybe you want to use it to power let's say some sort of cellular modem. If you have like a cloud-enabled dash cam, maybe you have like a Thinkware U3000 or maybe a Blackvue cloud-enabled dash cam, and you want to have some sort of a hotspot device actually hooked directly up to this. This is more or less what the USB output is for. So let's dive in and go over the wiring. So when you open up the box, you'll see it only comes with the one ATM fuse, one ATR, or also known as micro 2, and one ATM LP. Now, if you order directly from Safe Drive Solutions, we actually double up and we give you doubles of all of these three. So if you need ATCs, you would need to order your own, but we actually do double these up. That way you have a connection for the ignition input that you're going to need for hooking up this. There's two pieces of Velcro in order to actually mount it down, and you just actually stick it. Typically, you take it, you would stick it on the bottom like so, or like this, depending on how you want, and then you would stick it down to the carpet or however, plastic panel, whatever it is on your vehicle. Okay, so here's the IROAD Powerpack Pro 12, and basically we want to go over the two harnesses. So this is the actual input harness for hardwiring into the vehicle, and this is the output harness that gets hooked directly up to a dash camera. So we're going to start with going over the input harness, and then we're going to move over to discussing how to hook up directly to the dash camera. So this is the input harness, and we have a couple different wires here. So VCC is your constant power. So when we're actually talking about constant power, that can be hooked up a couple different ways. One is you can actually take a fuse tap, which comes in the box, and hook it directly up to the actual fuse box. That's one way. Okay, keep in mind, this is where all the current is going to be drawn, is on the VCC. Okay. The other way you can do is kind of the way we do it, but I mean, you really have to kind of be skilled, is we use a separate fuse holder on a lot of vehicles. So we solder directly onto this, we put our own fuse in, and we hook up directly to the wiring in the vehicle, because there's a lot of high current 12-volt wires. We don't do that all the time, but if that is something that you are looking to do, or you're crafty or own a soldering iron and you prefer doing it that way, well, guess what? Just use a fuse holder, typically 12 or 14 gauge, in order to actually hook directly up to this nicely to the vehicle safely. Now, in accessory, this is actually your low current, and it doesn't draw any current from what we've tested. Basically, what it does is it's monitoring whether the ignition is turned on or not. And then once it knows the ignition is turned on, it tells the battery pack to start charging the battery pack so that it turns your dash camera on and charges up so that it works while you are parked. Now, this you can do a couple ways. One, you can just hook it up the same way with an actual fuse tap. Now, typically, when you buy one from us, we'll include like some low current fuse taps, like typically with a 2 amp to 5 amp fuse. That way, because it's only meant to protect that circuit, you don't need it because it's not drawing current like this one where you need like a 15 or 20 amp fuse for it. And then you need to hook up ground. And typically when you're hooking up ground, you want to find like a factory bolt or a factory ground in the vehicle where you can actually hook directly up to it, or you might need to use like a screw, like a self-tapping screw and a lock washer, and find somewhere with nice metal, nice ground to actually screw directly to it. If you are going to do that, just make sure that you actually clean off if there's any painted surfaces, clean them off. We usually recommend doing that like in like say the kick panel of the vehicle, or find like a nice metal bar on the vehicle. Just be careful if you're not experienced with this, because you could definitely cause damage if you drill into the wrong thing. Okay, so that's for the input stage of it, right? Now let's talk about the output portion of the actual battery pack. So as you can see here, this is ground. So black will get hooked up to black. Yellow is VCC, which is your constant power. And then red is accessory / ignition output. So how does this hook up to, say, Thinkware, Vueroid, Blackvue, FineVu, GNet? I don't know. There's a bunch of other ones, right? Typically, a lot of the Korean dash cameras use this style. So when you look at this, black typically goes to black. Okay, and red goes to red because red is considered ignition when it comes to like a Thinkware Vueroid style dash cameras. And then yellow is constant power. So yellow would go to yellow. Okay, when we're looking at, say, Viofo, and there's a couple other dash cameras that also get hooked up this same way. Viofo, black will go to black. Ground always typically is black. They don't usually change or shy away from that. Red is considered constant power on a Viofo, so which means it would get hooked up to yellow. So now we're looking at red goes to yellow. Okay, and make sure you do this properly, because if you don't on the Viofo dash camera, it just won't go into parking mode, and you'll actually have challenges, and then you'll be one of the famous people who comment on our YouTube channel saying, I hooked it up yellow to yellow and red to red and black to black, but it won't go into parking mode. And no matter what I do, this thing's defective. And then we have to tell them that, that's because you need to hook it up in reverse. So always make sure. I mean, mistakes happen. I mean, even us, we're not perfect. We're human. Mistakes happen. You might just assume because red's red, yellow, yellow. But see this here? So accessory is red, and we hook up yellow for accessory / ignition on the Viofo. And that's how it actually has to be hooked up in order for the Viofo dash cam to actually work. So just keep in mind, stay focused on what wires are what. Always make sure to read the instructions, or you can always, comment on our YouTube channel. We'll try our best to help you out. Keep in mind, some dash cameras we don't know at all. We've never installed them. So, but that is how it gets wired for the actual dash camera to an IROAD Powerpack Pro 12. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are looking to support us, we offer professional dash camera installation in Greater Vancouver or Greater Toronto areas. We also sell dash cameras into the United States and Canada. Check us out, safedrivesolutions.com. Thanks again.